And there we have it. Team Immune on the left side and Ronin on the right. We are in the first banning phase, which is one ban for each. For those of you who don't know, those of you who have just jumped in to watch some competitive predecessor action.
We do see the change of draft order too, right? Immune gets to go first this time instead of Ronin, which also makes a difference in terms of how you prioritize and how you pick and ban. Because Ronin was first last time, so they don't have to worry about being the first to ban out the Richter. That might be Team Immune's call now. Because last time it was Richter and Rampage, if we recall, and Team Immune actually banned the Decker. They were like, that was not the problem. That was not the reason we won. So we don't need it. But you don't get it either.
yeah, Decker is just put off the board. We were talking about maybe Ronin should have banned it or picked it or something, but Team Immune just says, let's get it off the board. We do not care. But Ronin has a difficult choice to make now. They can either ban the Wraith and risk a Richter coming through for Team Immune, or they can ban the Richter and risk the Wraith coming through once again. But
they're going for the Rampage.
And then a Rampage ban. Okay,
for all the logic in the world.
Lesson.
Yeah. I mean, because last time Ronin was able to pick Kwang in the first. So that's also the thing that they can think maybe Team Immune will prioritize getting the Kwang first, and then we can take the Wraith and something else. There's a lot of that's the psychology of the draft, right? It's like, you know what you want, but how can you get what you want without them getting what they want or what you don't want them to have? They do go for the Richter, Team Immune recognizing the opportunity here, but they could have gone for the Kwang too, because Ronin now gets a double pick, so they can go for, they can pick the Wraith and the Kwang themselves potentially if they wanted to. Not that the Kwang necessarily worked out great for them last game, but it can do really well.
Yeah, it certainly does wonders having a good Kwang on your team, as we saw in the first matchup between Rocket Rookies and Omelette du Baguette. It was a pretty done deal as soon as Kwang got online.
Severok coming through
They're
here.
going for Severok on Ronin. I'm actually kind of confused what their priorities are right now, because it seems like they weren't in the last game. And now they're in game 2, and they don't understand what happened in the first game. But maybe they have a plan?
I think they're recognizing that going for the early game aggression wasn't working, and that wasn't the draft issue. I think they were looking at a situation where, or at least to their perspective, they were looking to a situation where we were trying to go for an early game, but they were better at that. Because not just because of the draft, because they're just better at that. So let's try and find a composition that scales a little bit more. And I think Team Immune is just gonna try and show Ronin how they should have played that matchup or something here with the Fengmao pick. Is being like, Severok Fengmao is a pretty decent matchup for Fengmao. Just got to play it right. And maybe they can. Maybe they get to.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Multiple times in a row, we've seen Severok have a tough... It actually seems like Severok so far has only had a tough time in the offlane. It's either been against Fengmao or against a Kwang. And that's just so hard to play against when you are a hard scaling hero. You cannot handle all these boxing fights. So you are in a very perilous situation from the get-go. But
that is a little bit of what the meta is right now, right? Like since the release of Kwang, we've seen, because Kwang was so strong, we saw a lot of solo lane Kwang, which means that if you play against that, you kind of want to have something that can either match the aggression or deal with the aggression a little better. And Severok was just not that hero for most people. In this organized play, though, we get a lot more organized and controlled jungle rotation, which means Severok has a little easier of a time, which we saw from the for Team Immune last game. So it is very possible that this is a decent matchup for Ronin. Gideon coming through from Team Immune will now be picking that up for themselves. Again, these are the picks that Ronin got last time. They got the Gideon. They got the Fengmao. Richter was banned. This time not. So they've got the Decker. And Ronin has an opportunity to throw something good on the board here. We haven't seen the Wraith come through yet. So that is still in the ban pool, potentially. But they do pick up the Narbash, which I do like for compared to last game, the Muriel was.
Yeah, you were talking about the changing up the support pick with a Narbash as an example. So now they have some healing and some movement speed to add to the equation.
And some buffiness in the way, he's a big boy.
Yeah, you can just get Shrek into the middle with a crash bang boom, and then Donkey and the whole party is there to help you. And that was a
very cute logo.
It seems that we lost our draft over here on the production side of things. So let's see if we can get that back up and running.
Of course
There
we
we go.
can.
We got our draft back, and Steel is getting
Nice.
banned by
I like
Ronin
it.
as we
Good
entered the
ban.
second ban phase. One ban for each.
Hey, look, we talked about the steal a little bit last time, right? We're thinking that it was maybe going to come through instead of the Muriel on the side of Ronin to have that, tank in the way to CC, to play against the Wraith a lot. It's not going to be able to be picked up now. So both Decker and Steel as supports have been eliminated as an option. It was likely going to be the Richter anyways. So Steel would have been in the jungle or on the solo lane, which Feng Mao, like together with Feng Mao. And that does mean most of the tanky options are gone. You have like a couple left that can get proper tanky. Like Greystone can get very tanky to a degree, of course. But it's becoming more and more interesting of a solo and duo lane, solo and jungle option here for Team Immune as they take away the gadget in that mid lane.
Yeah, now that gadget is out of the equation, there shouldn't be a lot of early pressure against Gideon, except maybe a Lieutenant Belka. And that goes
that
through
was
from
always going to be
Ronin.
the pick,
Yeah.
right? Come on,
I mean,
let's be real.
drones, get rid of the mana, bang, get that neural disrupt online.
It could have been
easy.
Howitzer if you wanted to have some fun in that way, but we do see most teams prioritize that stun combo, the stasis bomb following up with it, but also just the mana drain. The ultimate is a lot more reliable on that instant burst, which teams prefer over that more sustained rocket barrage that comes through. So it was logical that they were going for the Bellica, but it would have been cool to see a Howitzer or, throw some wrenches in it that gets an Aegean Scorch going potentially. Chimera coming through in the jungle, not a huge shocker here for the side of Team Immune. Their draft is looking a lot to me very similar to this sort of thing that Ronin had last game, just with the difference of having a little bit of a beefier support in the Richter and getting that CC out. But yeah, Ronin should be able to deal with this a little better, I'd say. As we do get the ADC matchup still. It's the only things we're missing. The ADCs. Twin Blast, Drongo, and Wraith usually is what we'll see. Either of those three, for these teams at least. But we get the Murdoch.
That is one of the next specials. We back in the day before Kira, before Drongo, there was Murdoch, and that was one of Neft's best picks. We have seen him hit so many long arm of the law across the map in really timely fashion. So that's a really good pick to round out their composition. Together with the Richter, that's just going to be easy. Get a Riplash off, connect, buckshot, you are dead. It's going to be a done deal. But now Ronin has the option of getting the Wraith or maybe another carry that can really answer to this very aggressive dual lane. And that's
gotta go for the Twin Blast. Yeah, I mean, the Twin Blast, I brought it up even when they would have gone up against the Wraith, the Twin Blast would have been a good call. It's a lot of pressure. It's a nice, you throw the nades out every now and then. The movement's good because you got your extra dash going. There's a lot that Twin Blast brings to this table that they were kind of missing with the Drongo, especially against that Wraith matchup. But even now against the Richter as well, Twin Blast is good at not getting Riplashed by Richter. It's one of the things that Twin Blast is really helpful for. So in this matchup specifically, it is a really good call to go with the Twin Blast. They have to be a little bit careful because both Twin Blast and Bellica, once they get Riplash, they do blow up quite quickly. But that is going to be in the duel in the crux. How much hooking is going to get through? How good is Richter going to be at fishing?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We got the game ready for you all right here and now. Team Immune versus Ronin here in game number 2. The first game going in favor of Team Immune as they stomped down the gates and just took the throne by themselves. But this time, it's another day, it's another game, and we'll have to wait and see if Ronin can answer.
Yeah, blue side here, Team Ronin coming through. See Jax once again on that Kwang. It's going to go into the jungle. This time we have Llama being on the Sevarog, playing against most likely that Feng Mao that they were playing themselves in that matchup. Skype Hamster and the Bellica, then Penguin and 7-1. Once again, the dual lane on the Narbash and Twin Blast respectively. And we see a very different lineup coming through from the side of Team Immune. And when I say different, I mean some are different. Shana will still be on that Chimera. And Empti here will now have taken over that mid lane matchup. They'll need now on the Gideon, whereas last time around they were the Bellica in that matchup. So once again, just a mirror, just switched it around. But the big difference here is of course that dual lane. Now Nefty and it's going to be on that Murdoch. And of course, we have their wonderful Shynn on the Richter.
Yeah. Shynn has been showing up on Richter in other tournaments as well, namely PCC, where we have seen some really amazing skewer combos with Riplashes just coming from the side of a jungle into mid lane, or for that matter, into like big team fights and pits. So that's definitely going to help Neft have a relatively easy time adding pressure with his teammate. But this is here and now, and it seems to be very interesting, kind of mirrored lane over on the off lane, which I really like, that they're trying to show each other this is how you're supposed to play this hero.
Yeah, that's indeed very much how you're supposed to do that. So you now see what Bondrewd is going to be able to do against Llama. Like we said, they just literally played this matchup. Just they played the other character, right? And the same thing here on the mid lane. So we're going to get a lot of seeing of like, oh yeah, this is how you do that matchup. At least Team Immune might be trying to say that to Ronin, being like, hey, last game you lost playing this hero against this hero. Now we're going to show you how you can win with this. We're just going to teach you here. Whether it's going to be a teaching moment, of course, remains to be seen. But at least for the time being, we don't see that first elimination come through at 2.5 minutes like we saw last time. In fact, it's Nefty going to be under a little bit of pressure here.
Shynn gets that Riplash off, and that's just going to open up the field as Penguin is trying to keep 7-1 steady with the HP, holding up that Marsh. It's not going to lead to much, but Nefty is still a little bit lower due to the fact that he has no healing on his side, and there's an Narbash on the other. There's a torn space here in mid lane as Jax is trying to hunt him down. Will that be? That won't really lead to much, but at least the pressure was there.
It's pressure, right? Like, because now you know the Kwang is still near, and if you take a couple of steps forward and you don't have a ward there, which they don't, they might still be in a spot of bother. Llama is getting pushed back by Bondrewd. A lot of damage taken already. Skype Hamster finding their river buff, and Jax finding the other. So Empti is going to be low on mana, if not empty just yet.
Well, at the end of the day, if you can keep it steady, you will succeed eventually, especially up against a team like Team Immune that really emphasizes on making your mistakes worse than they already are. They can really alleviate pressure on themselves and add more pressure on you if you do a mistake. So it is very, very, very dangerous to be up against these two, but you have to do something or else this will just fall apart with the farming. Neft is so good at both farming and dealing attacks onto enemy heroes that you cannot allow him to have any space.
I did think that 7-1 was doing a good job of playing that or aggressive laning, just hitting an enemy every now and then, so you can pull them in and means a little further forward, so you're not on the edge of the tower, right? You're a little further back into the mid, and your vision on the jungle river actually matters a little more. And now they just pulled the wave back into the neutral position, which is a good spot for it to be in, and means you don't have to over aggress and potentially can get ganked under that tower by a jungler.
Yeah, you do not want that situation to happen to you. And meanwhile, here in mid lane, we have Skype Hamster trying to pressure out Empti a little bit with the drones and the mana reap. But it's not really going to lead to much other than another lull state, because right now there is one other target. Shana is close to the off lane. Will he take a rotation to try and take out Llama? Bondrewd is adding a little bit of damage to Llama and showing him that he's not afraid.
Llama as well. Good lane management, taking a couple of pot shots from the minions just to keep them not on the tower edge. Keep getting your last hits. Keep scaling. And Shana is now getting pincered.
Skype Hamster and Jax working together to see if they can get a hold onto Shana. The torn space is going to help him out of the fray, but Jax is going to fully engage and get that first blood for the side of Ronin. And now they're on the retreat. Jax is not in a situation where he wants to be. He is way too low to handle Empti's pressure, but there is a seismic assault to help him out of the way.
Yeah, you still get your Bellica there. You know that torn rift is just gonna be torn space is gonna be a little off on cooldown anyways. So you have some time to escape without having to use a blink. Also wasn't cooldown by the way, anyways. But you were gonna be able to get out of that for Jax, which is nice. So they get the first blood. They get it in mid lane where that pressure is mounting very high at the moment, and Yeah, Ronin looking a lot more stable right now. They're not giving away these easy eliminations. The sustain in dual lane is helping a lot. Llama getting tankier, of course, is a really big deal. And that elimination in mid lane is probably sealing the deal for them doing well in early game. They're not going to get steamrolled, especially with this ult advantage. Look how low the mana or Empti is.
Empti is getting lower and lower with almost
Woo!
no MP left, and with the neural disruptor, it's going through, but he's still alive. Skype Hamster actually jumps in with a blink to get it, but that's going to be
Got him.
instantly answered by Bondrewd. Good job, Bondrewd. Now we're back over on the dual lane with Neft that has to get out of the fray. He does not want to stay here any longer with the low HP that he has. So that's actually a good pressure dealt out by Ronin here.
Shana's looking though. They're lurking around that dual lane. They're going to engage. They might even be looking for either the mini prime or the Fangtooth pretty soon. But they found Jax. Jax is running into them, and the dual lane is close enough that they could potentially help out. No. They're not going to risk going to that red jungle. A wise decision, probably. Otherwise, you get that 3v3, and you never know what happens if you're in the enemy red jungle with a 3v3.
Yeah, that is where you don't have the intel nor the vision, so keep yourself away from that. Meanwhile, in the dual lane, 7-1 and Penguin will get the gold buff, but at what price? They're getting engaged on by Shynn and Shana and Neft. They hold it steady and they get the Whiplash off. Neft getting another kill on the board, making it a 2-2.
2-2 on the board. They do find the Narbash indeed. Rather than Narbash than the Twin Blast, of course, but still you'd like to have a no eliminations whatsoever. Skype Hamster still putting a lot of pressure on this mid lane, able to keep Empti on the wraps just in terms of farm, in terms of XP. They do not have the CS lead, or not a clear one, but of course they did find a couple of these eliminations, and that nets them a little bit of XP lead.
Skype Hamster getting engaged on by Empti and going down. That's going to be a
Unfortunate.
really bad situation. But here is Jax. He wants to be here together with Penguin and see if they can get an engage onto Empti. Are they running on Empti? I do not think so, because at this
Nope.
point in time, they're way too well positioned.
Both supports rotating as well means that there you go. The ADCs are just facing off in dual lane. Blink is to come through. The long arm of the law will not let you get away. 7-1. You thought the Wraith reach was far with the knock. You have not seen the long arm of the law from Nefty yet. That is going to do a lot more damage to you. And of course, another elimination coming through here. And what looked like a pretty good start is definitely not. It's definitely not off to a terrible start compared to game one, but it could be better.
Yeah, you get a little bit of an advantage, and Team Immune just shoves it in your face and turns it around. That is definitely the way they play the game. They are really, really focused around the mistakes you make as a team, and they went for the gold buff in a little bit bad fashion, followed up by a really good engage here by Team Immune that gets them another kill on the board. Now they're sitting at 2 and 4, and we're 9 minutes in game. We have the first Fangtooth spawning, and I said that really weirdly. Never mind. Ronin are pretty much situated everywhere. They have not grouped up anywhere because they know that the pressure on the lanes are not under control yet.
There is a movement towards a Fangtooth pit being made on the side of Team Immune, at least putting the forward pressure on because they want to make that space. They want to put their wards down. And you can see that vision game once again. More orange wards going on here than there are blue wards. Team Immune once again putting their vision game to the test. Ronin having to find a way to deal with that. Both junglers and a dual lane are now on the side. An engage might happen here.
Jax is gonna engage and see if he can get a control over Shynn. There is the Fury of the Heavens connected, but it's on Shynn, so it's not gonna do much. And they do have the chance to return the favor in kind, but they're just gonna reset right here. Ronin does not want any more of that. But
They forced
meanwhile,
the
that
blink.
does mean that they're going into mid. There's a black hole on top of Skype Hamster and a skewer through the wall to get another kill for Shana. And that opens up the fray to go right into that Fangtooth pit. And they seem to be going just right for that, because why wouldn't you? 7-1, meanwhile, is trying to ventilate onto Neft with Penguin going in with the crash bang boom. It's not gonna amount to much because Shana is there with the ambush and the call to get onto Penguin and get the kill for Shana. Jax is coming in to try and answer and see if he can finally get Neft. Neft will finally fall, and it's for 7-1, which is definitely the kill you wanted it on. Now they're on the retreat. There's only Jax and 7-1 there to take care of Shynn. But he is not going to keep his Shynn up for longer because he's going to fall to the ground. Jax getting another kill.
I really like that as well. Like, Shynn doesn't have the blink because you just forced it out in the previous engagement, and they just find elimination. Now Llama and Bondrewd, I don't think Llama can actually fight this. They need to find a way to get out. They use the blink in the end after a good route. Ooh, this is what you're talking about, right? We talk about Neft with long arms of the law. I mean, of course, you have vision on that Sevarog, but they were moving around a lot. They just blinked, and you still get that shot off. That is amazing to watch.
Ronin are definitely showing their true colors now. The first game was just an unfortunate situation, apparently, as they now net themselves the first Fangtooth. They have been showing up and taking care of even a tanky target like Shynn on the Richter. That is a sign that you know exactly what your strengths are and what you can do in this particular matchup. Compared to last game, it seems like they have way more of a plan here.
And it really looks like Ronin is especially watching the mana bars. They're really looking at what resources are available to Team Immune to get away, to fight back, all those that sort of thing. And whenever Team Immune is setting on like full health bar and cooldown resources, they're looking really good. But if Ronin is able to force out a couple of things, whether it's a blink, whether it's a lot of mana, they are starting to struggle a little bit more, which is natural because, of course, less resources means less ability to fight back or to run away. But it's good that Ronin is recognizing these timings and recognizing that micro of it all.
With said micro, it seems that Team Immune are on top of things. They cannot pressure any longer for the side of Ronin. They have to stay back around their tower. They know that Shana is lying nearby in the grass like a jaguar ready to pounce, waiting for that one opportunity where they move a bit too much forward and will be caught red-handed. So right now, it's all about that one engage. But meanwhile, Jax is just dewarding this or Prime, the mini one, because he wants to go right for it. He wants to engage onto the mini Prime and get it for himself. What an interesting play to actually do right now when they're getting engaged on in the dual lane. Llama is on the retreat. He colossal blows Bondrewd away with the subjugate to try and survive for a little bit longer. Jax, in the meantime, is getting engaged by Shana and Empti. There is no retreat for you. Here's a black hole and a penny for your thoughts. You're going down to Shana, and that's just going to be a takeover from Team Immune as they will assure themselves that they will get the mini prime instead of Ronin.
Yeah, they do indeed. A little bit of space created, a little bit of opportunity capitalized on. Double elimination, both the Sevarog and the Kwang going down. Pretty good eliminations to get. There is still, the dual lane is still keeping up. I think is the best way to put it. We have a little bit of a lower leveling for the Narbash, but of course you care a little bit less about his XP than that of 7-1. And 7-1 going down here is a lot more hurtful. Nefty is super low, will eventually fall as Skype Hamster does join the fray, and Empti has to blink out. But this is not just over just yet. They want to push forward, and Penguin has that speed boost. Can they catch up? Can they find Shynn? They get the stun, and they do find the elimination on it. Skype Hamster finishing that blow. That just puts more and more power on the Skype Hamster. That really feels like it's sort of the linchpin of that team at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a brilliant play by Penguin, just blinking in to make sure that the Thunk could connect, getting another kill onto Shynn. That's going to open up that lane tremendously for the side of Ronin as they're sitting at a 6 and 10. They're a little bit pressured, but Empti right now is definitely getting Empty on HP and cannot continue disengage. Jax coming in from the jungle. He wants to see if he can get a hold on to Empty while he's getting engaged on by Penguin. And he's going in. That is going to be another kill for the side of Ronin. Shana coming in to try and get Skype Hamster. And with the call, it should be so. That is a lot of damage, but Jax is there to answer. The knockout from the Seismic Assault is going to connect onto Shana. Shana is getting so desperately low. Nefty will get 7-1 out of our vision, but at the end of the day, what does that matter when right now that is going to be a super well-placed reset here by Team Immune. That turned on its head quicker than I expected.
Yeah, it was back and forth, right? That feels like the way it keeps going between these two teams at the moment. Oh, good hook. Nefty comes in, long arm of the law, potentially. I don't think they have it online. They really, yeah, no, they do. They do, but it gets dodged. Oh, that's probably the first one that's actually missed. I don't think they've missed one before that, and Jack's definitely recognizing the danger of it. That was ridiculously close. But what I was gonna say is that it feels like Ronin, every time they get a good engagement, Team Immune is able to answer something back. Well, vice versa, that's not the case. That's where this 12-7 deficit is coming from. This elimination does not get punished. Whereas when Ronin does something like that, they get punished back. So it kind of evens out. And that's what we need to start seeing. We need to see Ronin find clean eliminations and clean engagements in order to claw back a little bit of this gap.
They have to claw their way up from the hole that has been dug by Team Immune. But let's see if it's just a little bit of a hill or if it's a direct drop pit at this point. They're not too far behind Ronin, but they're still having a bit of pressure against them. So they have to alleviate it somehow. And real soon, there will be some alleviation as a fight breaks out here by the Fangtooth Pit Jacks going in, trying to see if he can get a hold onto anyone. But the call is going to connect and making him go very low. The skewer is going to connect, and that's going to be another kill for Shana. But there is a drone and a ventilate coming through, almost getting Shynn, but it's way too late. Shana is there together with Neft and the rest of the crew, and they're just going to clean up shop. 3 kills down, 7-1 going down as well. That's going to be 4. There's only Sevarog left, and Sevarog will have no chance of answering as this Fangtooth will go in favor of Team Immune.
Oh, they were just chilling on the solo lane in the first place. But yeah, 4-0. It illustrates the exact point it's making before. When Immune gets something, they get it all. And when Ronin gets something, they will never get the full price that they want. There is an answer. There is damage being done by Team Immune in every situation. In this case, this damage might be too overwhelming. We're now talking about a 4 elimination gap growth. They get the objective. They get a couple. They get a tower, or maybe 2 even. They might even get Jax here if Jax is not careful. Empty, low on mana, will not be able to do much more than throw this one meteor. But Jax is too low on HP. They will go down 2. That is, yeah, they will definitely. That's another elimination going through. That's 5 in a row without any answer from Ronin. And this situation, that engagement plus that elimination, puts up a gap between these teams that Ronin will have to fight probably 10 minutes of a very clean game in order to have a hope to come back into this. This is a very big deficit that has just been created.
Yeah, we're talking about 11 kills above and resources in the pockets of Team Immune. Ronin are getting further and further behind. As you mentioned, the gap is getting larger and larger. So 7-1 here is in a really bad position because Father Christmas is here and his name is Shynn. He's gonna go for it with the skewer, and that's just gonna be another kill for Neft. Neft on this Murdoch is pulling out the numbers.
Skype
Skype Hamster
Hamster
coming in from the side, trying to answer. The Thunk is going to connect onto Neft from Penguin, but that is not going to help a lot unless the Crash Bang Boom connects. It will, followed by the Tether, but the Blink is coming through here from Neft, and Shynn is answering with a Whiplash to stop the
Another
engage.
Thunk.
It's another Thunk and another Neural Disruptor to get Neft down. Now they're going to go to see if they can get a hold onto Empti. Empti is running on Empti with the black hole on top. Penguin is getting lower and lower, and this looks very perilous for Empti as there are 2 versus 2. Shynn did get Penguin in the meantime, though, and that means that they have no more tanking to go forward for them. The Fury of the Heavens is going to connect onto Empti. He's trying to get out of the fray. Shynn will actually get Skype Hamster right there with the electrocute. And now there's only Jax left. He has to play his best game. It's not enough. 8-22. Team Immune takes another one.
And another one because Llama will fall too. Shana, doesn't even get hit by that tower shot. That is unfortunate. They do find Shana in the end, but 23-9. I mean, we got 4 eliminations from the side of Team Immune and then 2 from Ronin. Like, Ronin is fighting back. They're definitely not, like, we don't say they're out of it, but you can just see the difference just by looking at roll XP, right? 12 level ahead for Nefty, a level ahead for Shynn, 3 levels ahead for Empti, 1 level ahead for Shana, 2 levels ahead for Bondrewd. Like, that in itself is already a problem. Then there is the CS difference. Then there is, the item difference. Everything is coming up Team Immune at the moment. The only thing that's even is this Fangtooth score. They both got 1, but that really doesn't matter much in the grand scheme of things at the moment.
No, they're definitely sitting at a deficit where, as much as a kill gets you, it's pretty much just a few pennies in your pocket. It's not gonna be a full bill. So right now, you need to get more than just one. You need to make sure that you don't lose so many members before you actually get a kill through. Right now, here in the jungle by the blue side, and they notice Shynn and Empti going for it, but they cannot answer. They have to stay back and defend, and it looks to be a situation where they just cannot answer to whatever Team Immune has in store for them.
Team Immune looking for a way to end this game. I think that's what they're looking at. They're probably going to be waiting for a moment where they can grab the Ore Prime and push forward a little more aggressively. Currently, they do still have two tier 2 towers in their way. 7-1 is not in their way, so that's at least something. Means they could probably just clean up this tier 2 tower, and that leaves only one left, and the inhibitors are all exposed. Yeah, I mean, Team Immune is looking at still owning a tier 1 tower on the mid lane. That's the objective difference. And
Oh,
they
yeah.
just keep on killing. Like we were looking at this series beforehand, Woofy. We were saying there is a chance. There's definitely Ronin has been looking good. They're an upward trajectory, but I think Team Immune has shown that taking a break has been a very healthy thing for them.
Absolutely. Empti getting another kill right there, making it to a 3-kill situation as they want to engage onto this or prime. There's little to no answer for Ronin unless they get that initial kill that will start off the party. But they just can't because Bondrewd is way too far forward. Jax has no answer to an XP deficit. And that's just going to be another kill in favor of Team Immune together with Skype Hamster going as well. They also get the Ore Prime on top, and it looks to be that they want to push for the win.
Yeah, two members down the side of Ronin. There is an Ore Prime, a wave coming, and your entire team at your back. You're pushing that mid inhibitor like you want to end the game, and I'm pretty sure that's what they want to do because they can, right? Empty looking for another black hole potentially. Shana is jumping in under inhibitor. They do not give a hoot at all. They do not mind pushing their aggression. They're going to take out minions before their own wave even sees them, and there they go. This minion wave is going to go up to the tower. They're going to try and get another inhibitor out of this. And no, they're going to go for the Fangtooth. They just want to get an objective first. I don't think they actually want to finish the game right now, or at least I don't think they can. They might not want to take the risk. But Bondrewd sitting at level 17, 23 minutes. The closest on Ronin is on 14. That is a ridiculous gap.
Yeah, the gap is definitely huge at this point. They will get another Fangtooth, which will give them some out of combat movement speed. We've seen them rotate really well so far. Now they could just do that even better, which is definitely not the situation you want to be in if you're Ronin. So at this point in time, it is literally the last call for action. You need to gather up and get some of those high level kills so you can turn this around.
And a big deal as well, what we're seeing here, right, is in terms of how these skills are distributed. A very big sign here that the way that Team Immune is playing is very team oriented is those 35 assists. Like in combination, in contrast with Ronin sitting a lot lower in terms of 12, and they're also it's 12 out of 28 or 12 out of 9, where like they did 12 together, but it's like substantially showing that this assist count is really good on the side of Team Immune, even with the high kill count. It's not just solo eliminations around the map.
Yeah, it's definitely not a situation where you have all the control, and I don't think that it's very easy to do against a team like Team Immune. But that just proves how well these guys are playing.
Oh,
7-1 will get neft, but there's a colossal blow onto Empti to shut it down. No more damage available. But there's a skewer underneath the tower from Shynn to try and see if he can get that Jax down. It's not going to happen, and they just make sure that they can get the consolation prize in Llama as they're hunting him down. He rotates and quickly moves out of the way to reset. Shana going in, trying to deal as much damage as he can with the ambush. Llama will go down, but Skype Hamster will answer and get Shynn within the tower. He gets knocked up by the seismic assault by Skype Hamster, and that just resets the situation as they have almost no more or primes left. They only got 3 members, but one of them is Bondrewd.
Bondrewd just solo pushed all the way to the inhibitor on the solo lane. They're now pushing towards the core on their own. I mean, they're level 18. They have nowhere else to grow. They are as big as they're going to get, aside from maybe a couple of item and tonic components. But Bondrewd is going to be the raid boss. The early kill on the Nefty pretty much solidified a good defense there for Ronin. They did definitely get, this is like technically a win for them because, you know, of course they defended their base for the time being, and they survived the Orb Prime round, so to speak. But they just need to find so much more farm again to possibly catch up into this. They are good at defending their high ground, as we call it, right? Like their base defense is really strong in terms of what they can do and what they can react against, but they need to find more ways to farm in order to elongate this game, because one more decent objective will definitely give Team Immune the ability to just push high ground, push core without defense mattering all that much.
Yeah, that's what you want to stop if you're on Ronin. So at this point in time, Shynn is aggressing onto Jax, making sure that he cannot stay in the jungle for much longer. All lanes have been pushed wide open. Bondrewd and Shynn looking to see if they can get Jax. Shana in mid lane as well, trying to see if he can push it up together with Empti. But they're just going to situate themselves around the jungle to show a little bit of confidence that they don't have to push up just yet. They're just waiting for that one mistake that we have seen Team Immune do so many times. Wait for one mistake and then blow the game right open.
They're going to wait for the opening, of course. I think right now it's either you wait for elimination or you wait for an objective. Those are like the two options they have, because the one objective in the lanes is the core. And then it's either the Orb Prime or the Primal Fangtooth that will come up next. And both of them will give them enough of a buff that they will not hesitate to push core. But right now, there is no objective up, so they have to wait for elimination. They have to wait for an opening, and that will be an elimination. But it is again, like the red jungle is theirs. They're full of wards, no problem. They know where everybody is. That's not going to be hard to control. Blue jungle is a little trickier because there's more of a counter warding going on there for the side of Ronin. But even there, Ronin does not want to step too far out of their base. They want to keep the waves under control, and they want to wait for potentially inhibitors to spawn back in, which the mid just did.
Yeah, wait for your opportunity, turtle. In the meantime, they used the turtling strat really well there, making sure that one inhibitor could go up. But as you said, these are the big objectives that are spawning right now, and Team Immune are already in a good position to engage on them. Meanwhile, Bondrewd is trying to go in alone as a lone warrior. Penguin trying to crash bang boom him up in the air. Bondrewd will get lower and lower, but he blinks out of the way. He has a reaping dash as well available. If he gets out, no, he won't. 7-1 will go Grenada and get a hold on to Bondrewd. Meanwhile, multiple members of Team Immune are going in for this Orb Prime. There is a little visitor from Jax here, and that visitation was out of visiting hours, so you are going down, kind sir, and that's going to be another Orb Prime for Team Immune, second game in a row.
At least I don't have to worry about a Orb Prime to Bondrewd, because that level 18 Fengmao is, of course, down at the moment, but Llama is in trouble. This is going to be a blow up for the Sevarog, and then Empti will get denied an aggression. Just use their black hole, but is going to probably have it back pretty soon. The cooldowns get lower and lower as the game goes on. It's a good stasis, but stasis is not going to save you, Hamster. Unfortunately, this team is pushing forward into your core. It's only the Narbash left, and with the full team wipe, this has to be the end for Team Immune, Woofie. I mean, the minions are not there yet, but they're going to be.
Well, they were just talking mano a mano, and they agreed that this is over. This is a done deal. Team Immune will win this 2-0 and get to the semifinals to face Rocket Rookies tomorrow.